I have been anticipating doing this video for many months. I know that the lineup series that I do is quite requested and it seems to be quite helpful to people. I've done 2 or 3. I did a face balm lineup, which is funny because I'm just not as into face balms anymore, but I'll save that for my updated skincare philosophy video. I did a highlighter lineup. I'm proud of that one because that was quite an endeavor. And I think I did a face mask lineup as well. If I don't have a playlist of all my lineup videos already, I will create one. Face oils and serums. So, okay, like where do I even begin? I haven't filmed in a couple of weeks, so I'm kind of like getting back in the swing. Face oils and serums are a skincare product that I have a lot of experience with because they were one of the first products that I started getting really into when I started getting into green beauty. I don't even like saying green beauty anymore. I don't even really know what to call it. I'm still going through existential issues with all of that, but we'll bracket it for this video. I guess I should also say the face oil / serum labels are sort of confusing because if it's a face oil, is it a serum? Does a serum need to have a particular consistency? And I feel like other people that I've watched, estheticians, have tackled this. Like I feel like Jordan Samuel has talked about it. It talked about it well, basically that if it's an oil but it has all of these sort of active botanicals in it, then it's considered a serum. Now, if you just have a straight blend of carrier oils like chia or almond or whatever, I don't know if that's considered a serum. Or for example, like the pie rosehip seed oil, is that considered a serum? I don't know, so these lines sort of blur. It's not really the point of this video for me to distill all of that. I'm just going to tell you about how face oils and serums break down in my life and routine. I basically have 3 categories of products I'm going to talk about. So I have 2 categories of serums, and then I have a category of like face oils and face oil serums. This is already getting confusing. So I have a hyaluronic serum group. I have kind of like what I would think of as a sort of traditional emulsion serum that's not oil based. And then I have a whole category of oil serums. And then in addition to what I have, which is in sort of like in the flesh here today, which is actually like pretty restrained. Honestly, I've been going through like lots of just cleaning out and not accumulating. I visited a number of websites like Detox Market and Beauty Habit and Beauty Heroes to see what I have used over the years because I wanted to sort of infuse this video with my longitudinal experience over time. And I came up with a whole list of serums that I have at one point or another tried over the course of the last like 5-6 years. Maybe it's even been more than that. I'm not going to talk at length about the ones I've used in the past, but after I get through what I sort of have here to talk about, I will sort of give a one-liner passing mention comparative thought to other things I've tried. I'll finish out the video with a few wish list items, and I'll give you kind of like my top favorite face oils and serums that I just love of everything that I've tried. Before we get into this, I do have one quick random announcement that really kind of has like no place in this video, but I don't really know where else to mention it. I bought the Captain Blankenship Sail Away Bug Spray for my camping expedition, which has happened. Maybe I'll just do like a little story time video about that experience. And I never ended up using this. I actually ended up I was going to be in tick country and I just didn't really want to rely exclusively on this. So I bought some more heavy duty stuff and I didn't even use this. Unfortunately, Captain Blankenship does not take returns. I don't really see myself using this for the rest of the summer. So when I've had products that don't work for me and are unused or very minimally used, there have been people watching that are interested in taking them off my hands for like a deal. I paid with this with my own money and I would love to send it to you for, you know, a slight discount or something if you would be interested. Again, it's completely new and unused and I would be shipping it from Massachusetts. So if you are in the States and are in need of an all-natural bug spray, you can send me and leave a comment, or you can send me an email, lamouretlamusique@gmail.com. Now, shall we? Let us start with the hyaluronic acid serum category. Now, I have 3 products, and these all are in my heavy rotation. This is the Provise Nutrify 1-6 Tonic, the Activist Custom Hyaluronic Serum. This is, I think, my 2nd bottle of this. And the Jordan Samuel Hydrate Serum. I get asked a lot what my favorite of these 3 is. For every consideration, sort of like price and performance and versatility, it's probably the Provise. This is moderately priced and really versatile, and I will definitely be repurchasing a bottle of this. It's very sort of tonifying, toning to the skin. If you are in the market for a splurge, the Activist Hyaluronic is really nice. It's like an amped up version of this. I find that it's slightly more hydrating, a bit more nourishing, I guess, but it's like twice the price. You are getting a custom product, but she runs deals quite often, so that's something to consider. And I have to be honest, you can see how much of Jordan Samuel Hydrate I've used. Initially, I really liked this. As I've used it more and in rotation with my other products, it's not my favorite, and of his line, I don't think I would repurchase this product. I can only use it at night because I actually find I have problems with it balling up under the sunscreens that I use because of the gums that are in this. I do like that it has a small amount of vitamin C in it, so I mean, it has its pros and its cons. I find that you go through it very, very quickly, but it is moderately priced just compared to the other ones that I've tried. I don't like it as much. I find it to be moderately moisturizing, kind of no frills. Of Jordan Samuel, my favorite product from his line is definitely the Plie Cleanser. That's like the hero product for me. From there, we move into a sort of non-hyaluronic, but still water-based emulsion type of serum. So I have 3 currently. Most recently, the Honua Aloha Youth Serum, which I did a whole review on. The Infiore Complex de Fleur, which I actually dug out of my empty products bag for this video. And then the Tata Harper Rejuvenating Serum I also consider in this category. This is a true serum product. It's not oily at all. I mean, none of these are, but this I consider to be, of everything I have, the truest serum. The only other product I can think of in this category that I've tried is the Kypris Antioxidant Dew. Now, I will not use sort of a botanical water-based emulsion serum and a hyaluronic. I choose one or the other. So for example, in the morning, I would tone my skin and use this with maybe a few drops of face oil to give it a little more tackiness, and then sunscreen. Or if I didn't want to use this in the morning, I would tone, use a few drops of a hyaluronic product, usually this I'll use in the morning, and then I would go in with a couple drops of a face oil serum, like an oily face serum, if that makes sense. So I tend to use these honestly mostly in the morning. I will not often use them in the evening. I find that they're really nice for sort of plumping up the skin and infusing moisture and nourishment. So they feel quite protective for during the day, which is why I like them. I do actually really like the Tata serum. If you're looking for a sort of a good investment multi-purpose serum product, I do think that Tata Harper does these very, very well. So it sort of looks like this. Dries down very matte on the skin, but also quite nourishing. I really like this product. This is a standout product for me, I think, from this whole video. I've been using it for a number of months now, and I show no signs of fatigue with it. Products like the Honua Youth Serum and Infiore Complex de Fleur, I find them to be a little bit lighter powered than, or they're just not as kicked up as this on me for some reason, but they're very, very nice. If my skin is in really sort of good shape and I feel just wants some you know, light nourishment. I go for these. They work really, really well in the morning because I feel that like they work really nice under makeup and such. These are also, all three of these products are very, very nice on the psyche because they're so botanical smelling, and they all sort of have quite different scent profiles. So you would just have to sort of play around and try and find one. Okay, and then we shall move into the face oil serum category. So I'll just give you like a quick, so there's these to give you like a sort of a scope. Several of these are empty. These are empties. These are, I also am using. And then I have my Uma oils. Why don't we start with the ones, I'm a mess. Actually, so these are the main oils, face oil serums that I'm using, these four. I use these two a little bit less frequently, but they're still sort of in rotation, in particular over something like this that has a lot of active botanicals in it. And then I have several others that I'm kind of using up as body oils. I do use the Uma ones as well on my face. So let me tackle my heaviest rotation oils. So 2 Stark oils, Midnight and City. I've talked about these so ad nauseum. You're probably sick of hearing about them, but I've had them since I think January, and I've just been using them regularly and loving them. If you want to hear more, I did a whole Stark brand review, and then I think City was in my Summer Beauty Favorites video. Midnight was in a previous favorites video, and Midnight will also be in like a top beauty discoveries of 2017 video. It's been like one of my favorite products. So City I use in the morning. It's a morning daytime face oil. It has rice bran oil, which acts as a sort of natural SPF. There's no SPF claims on the bottle, but that's why it's really quite nice to use in the morning. Like to do this after a few drops of a hyaluronic like Provise. Sometimes I will pair it over something with more actives in it, although I tend to not. My philosophy with layering my skincare is I pick one product that sort of has the active ingredients that I want and build my routine around it. So with something like Stark's products, which are formulated with lots of like actives and essential oils, I like to pair it with something a little bit more mild. Although, you know, I do think that City makes a really nice pairing with something like Aloha as well. I will do that sometimes. I just don't like to layer too many products with too many actives in it. Midnight is just absolutely a superb nighttime face oil. It's literally one of my favorite face oils ever, probably. It's like, it's so magic on both the psyche and the topical effects that it gives. So a nighttime routine for me would be double cleanse, tone, eye product. I'll use Jordan Samuel as a first layer and then go in with 3 or 4 drops of Midnight over top. Again, if it's sort of a straight oil type of serum, I do like to layer the water-based products on before, and then sometimes I'll spritz like Petrichor over top because those Petrichor works very synergistically with Stark's other products. And then the 2 other nighttime face oils that I'm very, very devoted to are the Mahalo Vitality Elixir, which has been in rotation for me for probably 2 years now, and the Verid Anti-Aging Treatment Face Oil. You can see how much of that I've used. Mahalo Vitality Elixir I use once or twice a week. I like to use this after I've done either an exfoliation or a mask. Because it feels very, very active, and I don't like to overuse it. Like, this is not an oil an oil serum that I would use every day, just because it just feels like incredibly like potent. I find that after sort of like an exfoliation and then using this as a nighttime face oil, it's kind of like a mini facial in a way on me. All right, I needed wipes or the oil situation is going to get a little bit out of control. So where was I? Mahalo Vitality Elixir. My skin loves the ingredients in there. It's turmeric, black cumin seed oil, sea buckthorn, chia, lots of really great ingredients. My nighttime face oil serum routine is really sort of an interchange mostly between Stark Midnight and Verid Anti-Aging Treatment. This I mean, it's a absolutely gorgeous face oil. I really like Vered's products all used together, which is why I would like to add more products of hers to my life, because they're such a beautiful, like truly holistic experience. My skin really likes this oil too. This also has carrot seed oil, lots of herbs. It has vanilla, pumpkin seed, marshmallow. I find it's very calming in a lot of ways. I adore. And then if I'm going to use a face oil during the day, it's either Stark City, or if I've used a Botanical serum and I don't want to use City, I will either use the Honua Olena oil or Jordan Samuel Etoile. Etoile is also one of my favorite like travel on the go products to take, because I can mix it in with lotion as a body moisturizer, or I can use a couple drops on my face. This is just a blend of really nice organic oils: cranberry seed oil, argan, evening primrose, sea buckthorn. It's very nourishing. It's totally unscented if you are sensitive to essential oils. I like having products that are a bit more scented, which is why I will pair this with something that has more botanicals and fragrance in it. And the Olena, I think this might have like some actives in it, but it doesn't feel as actively formulated as like my Stark oils or the Vered or the Mahalo. So I consider it to be a like topper oil to something more active. But I mean, obviously these work very beautifully together. It's been something nice that I like having in rotation. It does have a bit of a strange skunky medicinal smell, but that hasn't deterred me from using it. So I do find myself reaching for this and enjoying it. I then have my little Uma mini face oils. You know, I don't use these a ton. I use them for very specific reasons. I do like having them like for travel and such, but the Beauty Boosting Day Oil works really nicely. Again, I would do a few drops of a hyaluronic and then just use this as I would use City or something. Total rejuvenation I will go for if my skin is really dry, which, you know, happens sometimes with season changes or hormonal fluctuations or things like that, but I really do reserve that one when my skin is sort of like in SOS mode. Similarly, Deeply Clarifying by Uma is an SOS product for me. These products are very strongly formulated, which is why they're not in such regular rotation for me. I like to reserve them if I have like an acute skin need. Absolute Anti-Aging is honestly probably my least favorite face oil of theirs I've tried. It's just, I don't know, my skin doesn't seem to like love it for whatever reason. It just doesn't do a ton for me, whereas all the other Uma oils I've tried, I feel like my skin responds quite well to. Ultimate Brightening, I'll use sometimes, although I also reach for Mahalo Vitality Elixir when my skin is feeling sort of like dull and lackluster. And then Deeply Clarifying if my skin is like having a lot of congestion. Two other face oils that I dug out of my empty products, the Skin Owl Mango Steam Beauty Drops. I love, love, love this product. I will probably repurchase this at some point. I don't know when yet. This was getting to the point though, I mean, it was like a year and a half old, I think, at this point, and I ended up using it up as a body product, but I used this I used this religiously as a fall and winter moisturizer. It's incredibly moisturizing. The scent profile is super unique. Just like, oh, it makes me so happy. This I actually think, because it is such a generous amount, I think this makes a nice combo face oil, and you could squeeze a dropper full into body lotion and get like all of the effects too. So that's a way that I have found to get through products expediently, I guess. And then the Activist Precious Oil Serum I also ended up using up mostly as a body care product. The Precious Oils was nice. It's not like a standout face oil for me, but I mean, it was nice. It was very moisturizing. I just have other things that I like a little bit better for a nighttime face oil. I do feel she does the hyaluronic serum very, very well and more uniquely, I guess, than the Precious Oils. Okay, then I have two other oils that I'm keeping around. that I've been trying, but they're not in my heavy rotation. The Lena Hansen Global Face Serum. It has a very light like vanilla orange scent, but quite like light and bright. It's the viscosity of the oil and the texture that I always sort of had an issue with. I didn't find that it sank into my skin like very easily as other oils that I have. It just felt oily for a little bit too long on my skin, but the viscosity was actually quite like runny, if that makes sense. It wasn't as congealed as, for example, something like Midnight, which is a much thicker viscosity. This one is very, very light. I actually think it works really nicely as a body oil, which is how I've been using it. She does do a body oil as well. In general, I mean, Lena Hansen Global Treasures is my #1 face balm, like, of all time. I also really like her Global Face Trio, which is her like mask, exfoliator, cleanser, but this one just was not a huge hit for me. And then more recently, I tried I had tried this product before. It's the One Love Organics Love Springs Eternal Youth Preservation Serum. This is actually on my list because I had gone through a whole bottle of this in like 2014 maybe, and I remember liking it. It was actually one of the first sort of like splurgy types of face oil products I liked. I used, and I liked it. I used the whole bottle up. It had a really strong neroli scent, and my skin seemed to like it. So this came in a Boxwalla box that I was generously sent months ago now. And I had tucked it away and decided to try it. So can someone tell me like what happened to this product? I think they completely reformulated it. It has no scent whatsoever now. When I always felt like the most distinguishing thing about this product was the neroli scent. So now I'm just kind of like, there's not really any point in me using it. As I'm saying, I'm someone that likes a little bit of scent, and in my products, I like sort of the mind-body experience. I guess I could use this up as a body oil, but I honestly have plenty. I don't really know what I'll do with it. So it was like sort of a bummer, honestly, because I thought that this was actually, in its previous iteration, a nice product. Okay, so those are all the face oils and serums I currently have in my life. Now, why don't we quickly run through other things that I've tried. I'll do screenshots so that you're not just like sitting here listening to me blab, and you actually can have something to look at besides me touching my hair and such. All right, let us try and be sort of quick. The thing that's at the very top of the list, though, because it's going to be a repurchase for me at some point this summer, is the L'Oreal Sun Damage Repair Serum. It was a past Beauty Heroes hero product. I used the whole thing up. I adored it, and I have missed it since I used it up. It's kind of, I think, a Hall of Fame product for me. The only thing I'm worried about is I know for brands like L'Oreal and, you know, that their batches can really vary based on ingredients. So I'm just like hoping and praying that the next bottle I get is as amazing as the first bottle I had, because it just was, my skin adored that face oil. So that's one of my favorite face oils, I think, of all time. I have also tried the L'Oreal Antioxidant Serum, and it was sort of a little bit more than middling. I thought it was a very high quality oil. I just is not at the level of the Sun Damage Repair Serum for me personally. Another one I remember really liking is the True Nature Botanicals Pacific Face Oil. It came as like a sidekick in the Beauty Heroes box from whenever it was, with the matte. It was like the moisture mask, or I don't even remember what that mask was called. I ended up not loving the mask, but the face oil I thought was gorgeous. It had this like beautiful, like light silken quality, and my skin loved it. It was like true luxury. I don't love the direction True Nature Botanicals has gone as a brand. They were recently either totally or at least partially acquired by Unilever. Olivia Wilde is their new spokesperson. I'm not into that like brand direction, I guess. But I did like that face oil. Another Beauty Heroes product, which will also be talked about in my year-end Beauty Heroes review, the Maya Chia Super Couple. I don't actually even have it in my possession. I ended up giving it to a friend. Did not work for me at all. It was actually kind of like a total fail. I didn't have like a bad reaction to it or anything. I just really did not like it. I did not like the smell. I didn't feel like it did very much to my skin. I just had a weird aversion to it. So that one did not work for me. The Osmia Nectar face drops also were like a sidekick or a little add-on into a previous Osmia Beauty Heroes box. I liked that face oil a lot. It actually, I'm trying to remember what it reminded me of. I think I must have said in that review video. It was very similar to something, and I'm blanking on what. I thought it was nice. Not like a super standout product from Osmia for me or in my, you know, compendium of face oils and serums, but I thought it was okay. In Fiore Fleur Vibrant Solution Botanique. I had like a very large, my hair is being very annoying. I had a very large bottle of that gifted to me a year ago. I thought it was a really beautiful product. It's, again, something quite versatile that you can use on the face and on the body. I got through about 2/3 of that bottle and then it actually turned rancid. So I just think that you have to really commit if you're gonna get like the big bottles that they do. They do the Solution Botanique, they do a Comfrey, they do a Calendula, and they're like best-selling products for Infiore, but that would have to be really kind of like your only body and face oil in rotation, I think, to get through it while it stays fresh. If you're wondering how an oil will turn rancid, it will just start to smell like plastic, or it just, you can tell that something is off. To me, I always detect a plastic note when oils and lipsticks go off. They just they smell not good. I've also tried the Infiore Nourrit face oil. It came in like a little discovery set of theirs that I had tried, and I really liked it. It's a face oil for sort of dry, dehydrated, mature skins. I don't think my skin now would need that one as much. My skin is much more sort of balanced and in check than several years ago when I had initially tried Infiore products. But I don't know, Infiore I just think is an exceptionally beautiful brand and definitely worth trying. Well, this was sort of like a weird serum product. It's not like a face oil, but the Michelle 17% vitamin C. I had gone through, I think 1.5 bottles of it before I was just like, I don't actually think I even like this product. I think it was a little bit too harsh. I entered the skincare realm just like I guess like a novice, like, you know, most of us do. I didn't really know much about acid exfoliation or vitamin C or, you know, retinols or any of that. Vitamin C seemed like a good product to start incorporating, but 17% is actually a pretty high concentration. And I just found that, you know, when everyone talks about vitamin C, it's like, oh, it's very brightening and it makes my skin look really bright. I actually like I never found that to be the case. I found it to be almost like stripping in a way and a little bit drying, and I think it's because the concentration of this one was just too high. So I don't even have a dedicated vitamin C product in my routine anymore. There is a small amount of vitamin C in this, and you know, I'm happy with my skin texture and brightness, so I'm not needing a vitamin C product right now, although I am perpetually sort of interested in the Jillian Wright vitamin C powder that's carried on the Beauty Heroes shop. So if I feel compelled towards vitamin C, I would probably go for that in the future. Okay, making progress. The Audacity Booster Oils. I've talked about these before. I've tried like 3 or 4 of them at this point. The Beridian Lime I've tried, the Acai and Rose I've tried, and I'm forgetting. I think I've tried other like little sample ones. Oh, I tried a citrus one, maybe a pomegranate one. I do like them. I think they're very pleasant to use. I think they make really nice add-ins to other oils, which is the whole point of them, but I think they are vastly overpriced for the amount of products that you get, and I just personally don't think that they're like the best investment if you're someone that's conscious of that sort of thing. I just think you go through them way too quickly for the amount that they cost. They are nice to try, but they're not something I would regularly repurchase, I guess. I'll briefly mention Kypris. Even though they're a brand, I don't feel I've never felt like terribly drawn to them. I've tried the Antioxidant Dew, Moonlight Catalyst, and like 3 of their face oils. I had a bunch of like big samples of them from a blogger friend of mine like 2 or 3 years ago at this point. No, I guess like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5. And I mean, I thought the face oils were quite nice. They're very lightly scented, but scented enough. They're not as scented as like Tata Harper products, like that potent. They're much like lighter and brighter. From what I remember, I feel like they've probably like reformulated and changed and stuff. Yeah, I just never got on with them, I guess. Or it's not that I never got on with them, they just weren't terribly memorable to me, and I just found other things I liked more. Vintner's Daughter. So this was a Beauty Heroes product from like 1.5 years or, you know, however long ago it was. I did enjoy using it. However, it was just never a product that I would invest that kind of money in for a repurchase for the results that I saw. Now, this product it's very polarizing. Some people seem to adore it, and it really heals their skin and they love the effect. It had a very middling effect on me, and I'm not sure why. It just wasn't really worth the hype to me. That said, it was a beautiful experience using it. I mean, it's beautifully fragranced. I actually gave a big sample to my mom and she loved it. I mean, I think it's actually quite an exquisite oil. It's very personal, right? Like for me, I just saw so many more effects with something like Mahalo Vitality Elixir. Is it as pleasant to use as Vintner's Daughter? I mean, not really. This one smells very Sour Barn-ish. Like I've described it in so many ways, but I continue to use it because the effect is very visible on me. Whereas Vintner's Daughter was like, it was nice and it was fine. I just don't think it was like worth $150. I don't even know how much it is, but it's just a lot. Kahina Argan Oil I have on here. That was again one of the like first face oils I feel like I ever tried, and to date it's probably my favorite, you know, like straight argan oil. I really like Kahina as a brand. I like that they've been around for so long. They're not very trendy. They have like a very solid and sort of conscious social media presence. So I like them. I think they do really solid products that are very effective, and I would definitely recommend their argan oil. It feels very like high vibe and nice, and just it's reminding me that I kind of would like to buy it again, actually. I'm quickly remembering, it's actually not on my list, but I have also tried the Tata Harper replenishing nutrient complex, like that rollerball. I went through a whole one of those. This was before I actually started making YouTube videos. I had been trying products for, you know, years at that point, probably 2 years of product trying under my belt before I started making videos, and I had tried the Tata Rollerball. I was attracted to it because it was quite affordable as far as Tata Harper products went. I thought it was fine. It's not something I've repurchased. I get asked a fair amount of questions actually about the Tata Harper, I think it's called like the beautifying face oil. I don't really have much of an interest in trying it. I'm not sure why. I think Tata Harper does certain things very well, but I don't know. I don't feel drawn to trying Tata Harper, using or trying any other new Tata Harper face oils. I just think there's other brands that I have found, like Laurel, for example, I think does exceptionally good face oil serum formulations, whereas I think Tata excels more at these sorts of like non-oil types of products and cleansers. RMS Beauty Oil, I went through a bottle of that. I tried it right when it launched, whenever that was. And it's like sort of a vanilla, that's the only thing I really remember about it. It was like a vanilla scented face oil. I was kind of over it, to be honest, by the end of the bottle. I don't have any desire to repurchase it. I'll leave the cream makeup to RMS and not their skincare. Similar with K. Weiss, like I have no desire to try that $200 non-organic canola oil. I don't know. There was like all this upheaval when that oil launched because I guess quite low on the ingredient list it has non-organic canola oil in it. I mean, I don't really care. I'm not interested in K. Weiss doing skincare. Similarly, I'm not really interested in RMS doing skincare, but that's just my take. And then the last one to mention, I mentioned earlier in this video, is the Pi Rosehip Bioregenerate Oil. I went through 1 or 2 bottles of that and really liked it. My skin really liked it. I like rosehip seed oil for it really helps with evening out and brightening my skin, similar to I guess how some people experience vitamin C. I feel like rosehip seed oil is very evening and brightening on me. I love Pi as a brand. They're so good for sensitive skin types. I've tried many different products from Pi over the years. Their eye cream, I've tried their toner, day cream, and they're just very, very gentle, very cleanly formulated. I like that they're a UK brand, just in terms of like ingredient sourcing and things like that. And they're not exorbitantly expensive, but they are sort of like a luxury. So the rosehip seed oil I really like, and I would like to get another bottle of that at some point. People have issues. All right, why don't I try and like somehow wrap this video up with a sort of some take home, like my favorites. So Stark Midnight is definitely a favorite. Tata Harper Rejuvenating Serum, Mahalo Vitality Elixir. These are sort of like Hall of Fame products, I think. Provise Nutrify Tonic is definitely a favorite. I really love both the Verid Oil and the Skin Al Mangosteen. Laurel Sun Damage Repair Serum. What else? Kahina Argan, Pi Rosehip, the Infiore oils. Those are the ones that are really jumping out at me as like products that I just love and will continue to repurchase. I have a couple on my wish list. I've mentioned some actually, like Kahina Argan, Laurel Sun Damage Repair. Those would be more like repurchases though. As far as things I have never owned but would like to, these have been in like multiple previous like wish list videos, or I've mentioned them. Infiore Lucence and Infiore Soleil Fleur are always on my wish list. Lucence is like a brightening treatment, and Soleil Fleur is like a post-sun treatment, so it would be an equivalent to Laurel Sun Damage. So I don't think I'm gonna purchase both. There's a UK spa brand called Ela or Elay that I've loved since like Spirit Beauty Lounge days, because she used to carry that range. Their body gel is like Hall of Fame for me. I think I'm gonna switch to saying Hall of Fame versus Holy Grail. Holy Grail is just like such OG YouTube language, and I'm like kind of over it. Hall of Fame. So they do a face oil for glowing radiance. It's a very rose dominant face oil. I remember trying a sample and loving it. This was like 5 or 6 years ago, but at the time I could not conceive of spending like $100+ on a face oil. That one might be more. Ela products are very expensive. Yeah, I've always wanted to have a bottle of that face oil. And then Tata Harper products I think are interesting because she kind of has different segments that in my mind, like they're different price segments that align with like potency and formulation that in my mind sort of align with age brackets. So for the rest of my 30s, which is, you know, I still have some time in my 30s, I'm gonna, I think, continue just repurchasing the Rejuvenating Serum. Now she does, I think, a boosted contouring serum, which is a little bit more expensive, that I think would be good in your 40s. And then I have tried a sample of this product, the Elixir Vitae. It's like a $400 serum. It's very expensive. I had a foil packet sample of that many years ago, and I remember being like, what is this? It's like, wow. But immediately I knew I don't need to be using this right now. Like, there's just no reason for me to use a $400 serum right now. I'm happy with my skin. I take good care of it. Ample sun protection and, you know, quarterly facials. In my 50s, if I were to start considering, like, I don't know. I don't honestly even know how I would feel about injectables at that point. I'm hoping that I don't feel compelled, because ideologically, I don't love the idea of injecting stuff into my skin. It's zero judgment to people that do. It's more just, I don't know how I'll feel about it at that point. I may be into it, I may not. But before I go down that route, I would start investing in Tata Harper Elixir Vitae, because it was pretty incredible, I will say. But for a much later demographic, I think if you're in your 20s or 30s, you don't need to be spending that kind of money on skincare. If you take good care of your skin, let alone the fact we're just talking about topicals right now. I think that the way your skin looks is like pretty much 90% dictated by your nutrition, your internal health. Everything you do for your whole system gets reflected in your skin. So, topicals are like fun, and I think it is important to cleanse your skin properly, moisturize it, and use sun protection every day. But beyond that, this is just sort of like a passion and fun, and it's a way to have a relationship with yourself and your body, and get some energy balancing and chakra balancing through like Vered's products, which I think are very good for that. So it's more of like a mind-body thing, I guess, for me. I think skin health is just, it's really not as reliant on topicals as a lot of people in the beauty community would like to think that it is, honestly. So that was my wish list. I've told you my favorites. Are we done? I think that might be it for this very long video. This might have broken a record, actually. I really hope that this was helpful. I tried to be very comprehensive. If you have oils that you're curious about that I didn't mention, I guess please feel free to ask. I mean, I'm sure some are falling through the cracks, but this is for the most part what I've tried over the years. Let me know, I guess, what other lineups you would like to see next. I'm thinking like I want to do a toner video because I have a lot to say about toners, and I've been very reliant on mists and toners for years now. And then I may do an eye cream. Those are kind of the two that I am thinking that I'd like to do next. Thank you so very much for watching. It feels good to be back in front of the camera. Everything I talked about I will try and have listed and linked below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.